It's just after 11 o'clock on this Monday morning. We do have a weather alert day as we're tracking several impacts to our region. We're talking southeast Virginia and northeast North Carolina. Let's talk about the timing, what you can expect in terms of impact and what you need to do. First of all, I think the weather through the afternoon, certainly breezy. We have some minor issues out there, but nothing major. I do think conditions are going to deteriorate as we go tonight and into Tuesday. So I'd say anytime after 6, we're going to look for tide levels to run high. And again, through the day tomorrow, some other issues. How about those issues? Well, rain, heavy at times, could create a situation where we could see some flash flooding in spots. Tides are going to run high. I think they're going to be right at the threshold between minor flooding and nuisance flooding. So we're not talking about a dramatic situation here, but we want you to know if you live in an area that is prone to tidal flooding, you may have some issues. I think you will. And then again, those winds gusting up around 30 to maybe 35 miles per hour along the coast. Bottom line, it's a good idea that you have a way to get weather alerts, and a great way to do that, other than just checking in with us regularly at 13 News Now and all of our digital platforms. Download our 13 News Now app, and we'll send you push alerts and different things as we need to cover this system. Now, what are we talking about? At 11 o'clock, still potential tropical cyclone number 8. There was some thinking it could become Tropical Storm Helene, but I got to tell you, it really doesn't matter whether it becomes a tropical storm or stays in its current form as a PTC number 8. The reason for that, we're already looking at winds around 50 miles per hour with higher gusts, and we've had some of those gusts reported down around Wrightsville Beach and some of the other areas down to the south. You're seeing those winds up around Morehead City, and you've seen some gusty winds back towards Ocracoke. So this system's already producing gusty winds, a lot of rain, and we're going to continue to see this as it makes that landfall and moves inland, eventually kind of weakening and raining itself out. It is going to bring rain to our area. The heaviest rain and the greatest potential for flooding is down to the south. There are flood watches that are out for many parts of North Carolina as they're bracing for more of this heavy rain. And this is a live radar sweep. This is why you're just seeing the rain that radar site is picking up across central parts of North Carolina. But obviously there's more that extends down to the south as well. Let's take a closer look at the area that is under tropical storm warning. So even though it's potential tropical cyclone number 8, it is producing tropical storm force conditions with those stronger winds, as I mentioned. And again, this is for coastal sections of North Carolina, Wilmington, seeing it all the way down through Myrtle Beach. And again, those areas, those coastal areas, bracing for some wind, a lot of rain, and some heavy surf. Here in Virginia Beach, we're looking at surf heights between 6 and 8 feet with occasional 10-footers coming in. Now, we're also seeing the tides, because we've had these steady east and northeast winds. They haven't been dramatic or destructive, but they have been steady, and with those winds gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour, it's pushing some water into the bay, and our water levels are projected to go up. So through midnight tonight, our high tide cycle coming up Monday evening, we do anticipate some minor tidal flooding, and we do have a coastal flood advisory. This includes Hampton Roads, all those areas that have the water rise and fall with the tides. We're all under this coastal flood advisory: Eastern Shore, Northern Neck, Middle Peninsula, and the Outer Banks. Now, as we take a look at Sewell's Point, the projections for minor tidal flooding, and the threshold is right at 4.5 feet. So we expect minor tidal flooding with the high tide around 8 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow morning's high tide, Tuesday, just under that threshold. So that's why the National Weather Service and the tide forecasters term it nuisance flooding. And then we get back to 4.5 by tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening's high tide. It will start to go down. Things should be improving on Wednesday. Want to show you the Futurecast so you get a feel for some of the rain that's going to develop across the area. You'll notice through most of the afternoon, it's mainly down to the south. It's really not looking too bad across most of Hampton Roads through this afternoon. Once you get into the evening, some heavier pockets start to fill in, and I expect to track some heavier rain across parts of the area early Tuesday morning on daybreak. That threat for rain continues. You'll notice how some of this heaviest rain with this latest model now shifting a little farther offshore and a little farther to the north. earlier with the previous models earlier this morning, they were bringing it right through Hampton Roads. So there's still some uncertainty as to who's going to see the heaviest rain. It could be farther north. It might be farther south. The models could easily shift this a little farther south. We'll just have to track it in real time overnight tonight and tomorrow morning to see where that those heaviest bands line up and who's going to be in line to get the heaviest rain. Potential's there, though, for some significant rain, and where you get heavy cell after heavy cell, you could have issues with runoff or flash flooding. Notice into Wednesday how we catch a little break here. Some folks were asking, hey, are we going to have an opportunity to get out? Some of our production staff here at 13 News Now have some outdoor shoots planned for Wednesday. I said, you know what? I think you will. I do think there's still a chance for a few isolated showers, but there should be some drier times as well. So we'll just need to keep an eye on the radar there on Wednesday, just isolated showers, and Thursday's not looking too bad either. This is updated rainfall potential, and this is based on the graph model. Previously, they had 4 to 6 inches here. We've been saying all along, probably 1 to 3 is the best range. In general, lighter amounts for those areas where the bands just miss them, but where you get some of those heavier bands rolling one right over the other, you could see locally higher amounts, 4, 5, maybe even 6 inches. Not completely out of the question. So again, stay weather aware. Now with this landfalling system, we have to keep an eye to the radar for potential little spin up tornadoes. There is a level 1 threat for northeast North Carolina, maybe a few isolated stronger cells coming through late today or tonight. And then as you can see down south of the Albemarle Sound, you have a level 2 or slight risk with scattered severe weather. So that coastal area heavily impacted down to the south. So let's sum it up. Again, PTC, potential tropical cyclone, number 8's impacts on our area. This is northeast North Carolina and southeast Virginia. We're looking at waves breaking 6 to 10 feet. I think generally 6 to 8, but a couple of 10-footers may mix in occasionally. So some heavy surf this afternoon and evening. We're looking at winds gusting to about 30 miles per hour. We do have that coastal flood advisory that I told you about, and flash flooding is possible. Again, this won't be the roughest system to ever hit our area, that's for sure, but it is something that will have some impact on life here or across the coastal sections of North Carolina and even southeast Virginia. And we will work here at 13 News Now to keep you updated. Again, we have a weather alert day. It really gets going from 6 o'clock this evening and through the day on Tuesday. Stay weather aware and stay tuned to 13 News Now for more updates.